Hey everyone, Aaron Rift here from NoDQ.com to give my thoughts on attending WWE Smackdown at Madison Square Garden in New York City. This was something that was on my bucket list, something I wanted to do for a very long time, and I had the opportunity because over the last several years, my mom and I traveled to New Jersey to visit my grandmother. And this year, WWE just happened to be coming into New York City for SmackDown. It was almost a once in a lifetime opportunity because I usually do not travel for wrestling shows. In fact, I'm not sure I ever flown to a wrestling show specifically at any point. If I go to a wrestling show, 99% of the time it's in the city I'm living in. I just don't want to travel specifically for a wrestling show. I'm not a big traveling person to begin with. So when this opportunity came, I decided to buy a ticket almost last minute. The night before, I made the final decision to travel over to Madison Square Garden. I figured over the years, when I buy tickets, there's no rush. This time, it was something I probably should have done sooner. The event was sold out. It was not easy to buy a ticket, especially if you wanted a ticket that was close to face value. In this case, I did buy a ticket, two tickets, one for me, one for my wife, and it was 100% worth it. To me, this was a dream come true. My dad used to go to Madison Square Garden shows back as a teenager in the 1970s, early adult. So many memorable moments at this venue, the world's most famous arena. You had the first WrestleMania there, WrestleMania 10 with the ladder match. You had all of these classic moments in WWE history, and I felt it was just something I wanted to do one time and have that experience. Tickets are expensive in New York. Everything's expensive in New York, but again, I think it was totally worth it. There's also the part of getting into Manhattan. For those of you that have been to New York, you know it's insane. It's a madhouse. I figured it out. I had a game plan, got in there, found a parking structure. My wife and I just walked across Manhattan to get to Madison Square Garden. We checked out the Empire State Building while we were there, and shout out to the guy working there that actually recognized me. And that's pretty cool when random people know who I am. So thank you for that. I appreciate it. Boosts up the old ego. But yeah, being there in the arena, I definitely felt the goosebumps being there, knowing all of the wrestling history in the arena. And there's a shot right there. Completely sold out. WWE is on fire right now. They are doing red hot, and so many people on this show felt like major superstars. They definitely have some hot acts right now. LA Knight being one of those guys. You had, interestingly enough, I've been to many WWE shows, and typically you have one or two dark matches before the main show. WWE did something that I haven't seen before at any shows I've been to. They did a segment rather than a match. You had Hit Row coming out there at the beginning. They were insulting New York, and I kind of agreed with them because I'm not from New York, and I'm not attached emotionally to the city. It's a great city, but I get the criticisms. They're ripping into New York, and then all of a sudden, LA Knight's music hits, and the place comes unglued. I've been to Attitude Era shows. And I can tell you, this crowd reaction is up there. I would not say it was like Steve Austin at his peak, but I've heard pops for Steve Austin at wrestling shows, and this was very close. It felt like maybe a positive John Cena reaction. If you go to a show that had John Cena on it and people were going crazy for him, they reacted to LA Knight like he was a top tier guy. He came out there, he beat up Hit Row, total baby face action here from him coming out there beating up the bad guys, and WWE ended up putting this video clip on their social media accounts. It's weird to me that they did not put him on the main show, but at least they got him out there in front of the fans and posted the clips on social media. He definitely needs to be up there. I've been saying this for the longest time. And during the moments before the show, people do the woo and they will chant different things. And one of the little chants they had was yeah. Every time one guy would do it, everybody else would start doing it as well. The guy has something here. They need to capitalize on it. Anyways, let's talk about the bloodline, which means we'll be talking about 40% of the show. You had Roman Reigns coming out there for the tribal court at the beginning of SmackDown. The Usos were out there first. They called out Reigns. And yeah, this segment went about 30 minutes. And I will say, I think it flew by in the arena. Crowd was into everybody. It's funny because we're wondering who's the heel here. We know Roman Reigns is the heel, but he's getting a huge babyface reaction. When Roman Reigns says, "Acknowledge me," you see most of the people in the arena holding up the one. Usos, of course, crazy reaction to them. The crowd was singing their song when they came out there. Solo got chants. Like, Paul Heyman's maybe the only guy that they hate, but they would chant ECW at him at a lot of these shows. Roman Reigns is out there and teases the idea that he's stepping down. Like, he actually got on a knee, and that was a great visual when they did that. Roman Reigns got on the knee and then acted like he was going to pass the torch, but then he gives the low blow to Jey Uso, and there's this huge brawl. Jimmy's getting involved, Solo's getting involved, and they're fighting on the outside. Like, the first part of this segment was all the talking, and then the second part they were fighting and brawling around ringside. And then they did the table spot where Solo Sikoa put Jimmy Uso through the announce table with the splash, and Jimmy Uso was injured. He was actually taken out of the arena on a stretcher, and Jey Uso left with Jimmy, and that was what I thought was going to be the last of the bloodline. Because this went so long, 30 plus minutes, I thought we were done with the bloodline for the show, and I was wondering, what are they doing for the main event? The first match of SmackDown, by the way, I forgot to mention Zelina Vega fought Lacey Evans in one of the dark matches, and Zelina was really over. I'm guessing there's a huge Puerto Rican and Spanish community in New York, and I think pretty much anywhere the LWO is over now, and this just goes to show how well Zelina Vega is doing, because I feel like a year ago she really had no momentum and she was cold, but now she's red hot. Crowd was going crazy for her, and I'm happy for her. Anyways, we had Sheamus versus Austin Theory for the United States Championship. Pretty good match here, solid stuff. But then, of course, at the end, you have all the shenanigans. First, you have Pretty Deadly coming out there. Then you have the Brawling Brutes coming out there, and you're thinking, are we getting a title change here maybe? Sheamus is giving Austin Theory this fight of his life. But then one of Pretty Deadly gets on the apron. Sheamus goes after him. And you guys know my saying, stupid baby face, allowing himself to get distracted like that. And we had the roll up, the classic roll up. Austin Theory rolls him up and gets the win. Felt like a very Vince McMahon-like finish here. And people took note of this. Vince McMahon was there backstage at SmackDown. Now, it is the Northeastern United States. Vince McMahon lives in Connecticut. By the way, I was also able to stop by WWE headquarters in Stamford, the classic Titan Tower. And I also drove by the new headquarters. So I guess I'll comment on that for a second. The new headquarters is huge. Titan Tower is a big building and it's very prominent in Stamford, but this new one is even more so, being right off the freeway. And they have like 4 WWE logos plastered around their facility. They got 3 of them that I saw off the freeway. And then the main entrance, there's a huge WWE logo in the front, but it still appears to be under construction. There was a big fence over the front of the building, but it was very impressive. I mean, I definitely see it as an upgrade for WWE. Titan Tower, of course, is iconic. It'll be sad to see that no longer be the HQ. Anyways, back to SmackDown. We had a very sad match here with Karrion Kross. Karrion Kross and Scarlett out there. Kross facing AJ Styles in a match. Kross does his entrance, as you can see in this still. He gets in the ring, and just as we're about to have the climax of this entrance, it just stops. The lights go dark, and as it turns out, Karrion Kross did not get his entrance on TV. He got what I call the jobber entrance, where they come back from commercial and he's just standing in the ring there for the match with AJ Styles. You guys know when you see this, it's not a good sign. 9 times out of 10, the jobber entrance means, well, exactly what it says. AJ Styles beat him, of course. 2-minute match. Karrion Kross, don't pick up your phone next time you get a call from Stamford. Just saying. It sucks for him, but it definitely feels like WWE has given up on him. We had the Grayson Waller effect with Edge. And I figured, okay, they're going to set up a match for SummerSlam. Grayson Waller versus Edge. Grayson was taunting him, saying, you're out here to announce your retirement. And Edge was like, no. As a matter of fact, I'm not retiring. So that actually set up a match between Grayson Waller and Edge. I was not expecting this. I did not think Edge was going to be doing a match on SmackDown. That was cool. That was a nice surprise. Now the match, it was good, but it did drag on a bit. I get what they were going with this. They were trying to put over Grayson Waller while having him lose. Edge did beat him, but it was a very competitive match, went on for quite a bit, and Grayson Waller was able to swim with Edge. Edge earlier said, you're either going to sink or swim, and even though Waller lost, he put up the fight. I guess they were going with the Kurt Angle, John Cena dynamic from 2002, where Cena went out there, had the ruthless aggression, and gave Angle quite the fight. And that's what happened here. Edge got on the mic, put over Grayson, said he swam. It was good. It was a good start for Grayson Waller. Even though he's a heel, he still went out there and put up the fight and was able to hang in there with the Hall of Famer. We also had a women's segment. Almost felt like AEW this week, where they did the women's segment like at 9:30, the second to last segment. You had Io Sky out there. We had 5 women in this segment. Asuka came out there to start. She was immediately interrupted by Bianca Belair. Bianca came out there. They fought. Charlotte came down, of course. And then Io Sky with Bayley came out there and attempted to capitalize on this situation. And I will say they had me here for a bit. I thought maybe we were going to get the cash in. It's funny because all these years the cash-ins with the women happen right away, and I'm conditioned to think it's going to happen. So they actually did a really good job here with the tease, but Charlotte, Bianca were able to prevent it from happening, and Io will have to try it on a different occasion. Segment was fine, felt very rushed, but I mean, I believe several segments on this show were likely shortened, probably Karrion Kross's match too, due to the Bloodline segment going on for so long. Now, the main event segment was more Bloodline. Roman Reigns came out there and once again tried to make it clear he's in charge and nothing's changing. Jey Uso returned from the hospital or the medical facility, the local medical facility. Jey Uso comes out there and gets into a fight with Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa. And with a steel chair, Jey is able to get Reigns out of there. Jey just beats the hell out of his brother Solo, repeatedly hitting him with the steel chair, showing that aggression. And then he grabs that WWE Championship and issues the challenge for Roman Reigns. He did not say SummerSlam, but obviously that's the destination here. People in the crowd were even chanting SummerSlam. Part of me wanted to hear him actually say SummerSlam, since I'll be going to that in Detroit again when it's local. I can drive to it. That's when I go to these shows. But yeah, I was hoping for the SummerSlam line. But yeah, he did challenge Roman Reigns, and it, 99% confirmed for SummerSlam. It's almost certainly what the match is here. And yeah, it was a very interesting SmackDown in the sense that the Bloodline dominated the airtime. Like between the first segments, which went into, I'm not sure if it was even 2 commercial breaks. I know for sure it was 1, might have been 2, plus the final segment. The Bloodline got about 40 minutes of TV time out of this 2-hour show. I'm not complaining. I mean, the Bloodline is fantastic. It's the best storyline in wrestling. So I absolutely loved the show. Again, it was well worth it. And I'm really, really stoked for SummerSlam. Looking forward to that. And it's pretty cool. It's not often that I get to see like the big angle in person, and then I'm going to be seeing the match in person. So yeah, that was awesome. And I forgot to mention, well, when Roman Reigns was out there at the beginning, the crowd was chanting "You effed up" when the Usos showed the exhibit footage of Roman being a jackass over the past several months. Crowd chanted "You effed up" at him, and everyone told me that it was censored on Fox. No surprise there. I mean, yeah, they're going to censor that. And Roman even acknowledged it on TV. He's like, "I did not." And everybody was like, "Yes, you did. Yes, you did." So that was really fun. They also chanted BS when Roman was trying to defend himself. Great crowd in Madison Square Garden. Like they were hot for the whole show. And yeah, it was just an amazing experience. And I'm glad I got to be there for at least one show at Madison Square Garden. Thank you all for watching my little recap here. Figured I would give you guys my thoughts from a live perspective, and I'm sure we'll be talking more about the Bloodline on the No DQ review. Check that out on the NoDQ.com YouTube channel, and stay tuned to NoDQ.com for the very latest wrestling news and rumors. And remember, say yes to NoDQ.com. Thank you all for watching.